Just a quick video. Here's my PC, beige, and I've taken out the motherboard on this fancy slide out. Now, the chap that I bought this motherboard from said that there was some issues with it, and he managed to get it working by putting it back in an oven. It seemed to work okay for about a year, but then it started to forget what cards we've got installed. So I've got a PCMCIA card slot, I've got a 3COM 3C905B network card, I have a Sound Blaster Live, and I think at the moment I've got an ATI card of some description. So I won this on eBay. So this is a Pentium III motherboard. It's got a couple of extra PCI slots, which would be nice for the case because we've got a couple of extra available. It's the same speed CPU. It's 866 megahertz Pentium III. But this motherboard has onboard sound, which I'm going to disable in the BeOS because I don't need two sound cards. It came with the I/O shield. It came with 256 times 2, so 512 megs of RAM. And it also came with a graphics card over there, which is some GeForce 2 400 MX something or other. Actually, what does it say on it? GeForce 2 MX 400. Not entirely sure if I want to use that because BeOS supports the graphics card that's currently in it. So we'll see. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out the screws for this motherboard, take out the cards, and then pull this motherboard out and swap it with the new one. So the motherboard is now free, and here's the replacement. Now this is a Intel branded board, and this one I think is an Asus, or it might be an MSI. It says MS there, perhaps it is MSI, I don't remember. But basically the layout is more or less identical. So we have I think it's AMR slot, that one there. We don't have an AMR on this one, we've just got AGP and 3 PCI. And on this one we have the AGP and we have 5 PCI. So I'm going to I'm going to take off the heatsink and swap it over. I've got some new thermal paste just there. And take off the I/O shield, which I'll do with 2 hands. And then I'll install the I/O shield, and then I'll stick the motherboard in and screw it down. I burnt a CD here with the drivers on, so that'll just be the chipset drivers. And then yeah, I'll stick it back in the case and hopefully it will boot up. Okie dokie, I have put the motherboard in, I put the cards in, I put the I/O shield in. I'm using the memory that I used to use because these are a matched pair, whereas the ones that came with the motherboard are, they're different. So I'd just rather use these ones. I've also removed the case fan because I don't like the way the power cable stretches across the case. So next I'm just going to reassemble it, and fingers crossed, I need to figure out the jumpers here for the switches and stuff. It does actually say, so hopefully that won't be too difficult, but fingers crossed I'll just put it in and plug everything back in and it should just power up. So cross your fingers for me. What I love about this case is this motherboard tray just slides straight out. Now, it's rather difficult to do with one hand, there we go. The whole thing just slides nicely in, and it just have to plug all the cables in. Now, cable management leaves a lot to be desired in these old machines. The power supply under there, the cables are a bit naff, so just got to make the most of it. So I shall be back once I've plugged everything in. Right, hopefully I've put everything back together. I need to get the manual out because the silk screen on the motherboard for the speaker, reset, power, and whatever the other one is, activity light, hard drive activity light, and the power light was different than in the manual. So
a few moments later.
I'd forgotten to turn the power supply on at the back. So it's beeping. It's a good sign. It's found the primary hard drive, the zip drive, the CD-ROM. Oh, thank you, ScanDisk. So I've tried to cable manage as best as I can by stuffing the cables out of the way. I had to move the floppy and the zip drive up because unfortunately the cable for the power for the zip drive was just a little bit too short now that I've taken out the case fan. Get rid of ScanDisk, I can't be bothered to wait. So sorry about the flickering on the camera if you can see it. And the colour temperature changing. Right, I'm going to put my driver's CD in now. Yeah, the colour temperature is all over the place. Sorry about the flickering there, let's see if I can do anything with it. If I hold the camera there, that's a bit better. So the reason why I'm pressing cancel on all this is because there is an installer on the CD that I'm going to run, and hopefully it will install all the relevant drivers.
5 minutes later.
Right, we're all done. All the drivers are installed, there's no exclamation marks, so I'm going to button up the system and jobs are good. Let's have a quick look at properties. And if we do there we go, we have an Intel Pentium III, 866, 512 megabytes of RAM. We have the internal hard drive, partitions, so 64.7 gigs in size, 61.3 gigs available. The zip drive, there's nothing in the zip drive at the moment, and then the CD, so yeah, that's working. No exclamation marks. Disabled the onboard sound, so we've only got the Creative Sound Blaster in there. And it's all done. But hopefully the system should be a lot more stable than it was. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.